panicking yet, but how big of a concern is not getting a win yet in the preseason to you guys?
I don't know if we'd call it a concern, but it's definitely something that that we're thinking about, and definitely something that we're well aware of, and we're aware of that. We got to be better in certain areas, and we know what those areas are, and it's tough in training camp. This year there's so many games, and there hasn't been a lot of practice to kind of get systems figured out for the new guys and get everybody playing together. But still, there's no excuses for not getting a win yet. I mean, we want to get in that win column, and we know that it's hard to flip a switch once the regular season comes. But for us, it's about creating good habits, and that's got to start right away. And I always think the work habit's been there, the hard work's always been there. It's just details here and there that it's got to start early.
I think you mentioned last week it gets easier as the numbers get a little bit smaller. So, I mean, is this last set of preseason games kind of the bigger test?
I think so. I mean, first few games, it's a lot of different guys that you haven't seen before, and a lot of different line combinations you haven't seen before. And now you feel like the team is getting down to the regular size and guys that are going to be here for the year. And I think it's exciting because now you're starting to see line combinations and deep pairings, and we still have a lot of guys, and we still have a really good competition within the room, and that's something that's really important for lines to push each other, for deep pairings to push each other for number one spots.
Why do you think it's been so difficult to score goals?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I think we've seen every season there's it all goes into waves, and sometimes some periods, some months and weeks you're scoring on everything. Sometimes it's hard for the power play even to get a goal, and 5-on-3s to even get goals. So it's certainly something that it all goes into waves, like I said, and some periods you manage to put it in the back of the net, and sometimes you don't. But for us, it's a step in the process. We want to. If you want to become one of the better teams in the league, you have to learn how to score goals, even though you're going through a tough period of time. And I think for us, that's something we got to figure out.
Gabe, these two games against the Kings, obviously a very heavy team. Thoughts about what you guys are trying to take away from these last two?
Well, I think with the lineup being as close to opening night lineup as we can get, I think it's certainly something that's important that we get systems to where we want them to be. We want the details where our backtracking, our forecheck and neutral zone forecheck and all these kind of things that we want those to be nearly as perfect as possible, and that's something that I feel like we've been lacking so far preseason games. And like I said, the effort's been there, but details as far as positioning of chips into the zone and entries and offensive plays and stuff like that, that's something that hasn't been as good as we want it to be.
The rink you're playing on in Colorado Springs, it's an Olympic-sized sheet. Does that affect any way at all your guys' preparations as far as heading into the regular season, playing on that bigger sheet?
No, not really. I mean, considering the regular season is always on the smaller ice surface, it's nothing that we'll put too much thought into. But it's fun. I know a lot of guys like it. Some guys don't like it. It's a lot of skating and a lot of room out there, but it'll be fun. I know a lot of guys haven't played too much on it. As far as for me, I've grew up playing on it, so I should be able to handle it, even though I'm not a huge fan of it. I like the smaller ice surface, but it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be different for both our guys in this room and for the Kings.
Obviously, you always want to win and stuff like that, but it's more about how we play too. We can still have a lot of bad bounces, and we've been close to a couple games that, if we did get a little bounce, we could have won. So it's more about, doing the little things right and kind of getting that preparation for the season.
Do you like the way the team is playing with the season now fast approaching?
We've been a little inconsistent. We've had times during the game where we've been, moving it smart, doing all the little things right. And then, we'll have a couple just little mental errors that, definitely something we could fix. So, we are close to getting a win, but, again, it's just one of those, we have a few games left to tighten it up, and we just got to take it kind of one period or even one shift at a time.
Ryan, realizing that you haven't had a full lineup for every game, is it just kind of surprising the number of goals you guys are not scoring?
Yeah, that's definitely, it's been an issue in every preseason game. We got to be able to put the puck in the net, and it does happen. And hopefully by the time the regular season comes, that we'll have changed that. But for us, I think the main thing is taking care of our own end first, and being smart within our system. Make sure everyone's on the same page, and then the goals and the connection like that. That's something that'll come later.
Well, let's face it, there's no one gripping the stick saying, "Oh, we got to win a preseason game." I mean, it's not. It is what it is, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no panic right now. It's tough. Everyone's look at their teams. There's guys trying to make the team, and they're playing with certain intensity that let's say certain nights that we could have lacked. But at the same time, the ways we play these games is to iron out those kinks and to find those ways to win games. So we have 2 left here that we have to play smart and hopefully come together.
Ryan, nice little test here against the champs, back-to-back games. Just talk about, these games don't count, but obviously it's a good test against the best.
Oh, absolutely. They had an incredible year last year, and they're a big, strong, tough team. It's definitely not an easy game on your body, and with them, they do a lot of little things right. They go to the net hard. It's one of those games that you can't relax at any point, or they're going to get momentum and then they're going to take off. So I think we know we have to, playing against these guys, we need a complete game, that we can't have any casual moments, and we got to be consistent.
Erik, you're just playing the Kings first, obviously the defending champions, and even though it's a preseason game, are you looking forward to playing them?
Yeah, I think so. I think our last preseason, I think we were in a similar situation. We hadn't won one. We played some good games against the Kings to gear up for the start of the season, and then had a great start to our year. So we're going to have most of our regular guys playing, I think, in the last 2 games. So it should be a good test for us to finally solidify some chemistry and get off on the right foot here for the regular season.
You play down there in college. What do you guys want to really accomplish to, again, like you say, get off on a good start?
Probably just, I think special teams is the biggest thing. If you solidify your PP and your PK, you're going to win a lot of hockey games, and so far we've been pretty good at that. Our power play was good, our penalty kill was good, and those are the toughest things to build upon. So when you get good at those right away in preseason, it makes a huge difference for the start of the regular season.
Did you play down there in college?
I think we played at the is World Arena the big one with the big ice sheet? Is that where CC plays?
In your time, that would have been the home rink, yeah.
So we played there, and it's a giant ice sheet. I mean, it's a big sheet. So are we playing the Kings in that sheet? Do you know, on the big one?
Yeah.
So that should be fun for us defensemen chasing some of those forwards around on that big ice.
Yeah.
That's a big sheet. So that'll be good for us going back in the NHL sheet, playing on that big ice, and it'll be a good test for the D especially. There's a lot more room out there.
Erik, you've had a chance to play with Brad a few times now. What's that been like?
It's been good. He's I'm really familiar with him. I remember my first couple years he was in LA, and then I remember him in Detroit. He won a Stanley Cup there, so I'm familiar with him, how he played. I was really excited when we got him this summer. I think he's a perfect addition for us. He's experienced. He's a good skater, really reliable, so I think he'll be a good fit for me. And I'll help him out any way I can. So I think it'll be a good match. He's a really experienced player that'll pay dividends for us during the year, I think.
Can a coach like Patrick Roy, just the way he manages a game, can that be an advantage for a team? I mean, can he bring an advantage from the bench?
It's a huge advantage. He's I think one of the best in-game tactical coaches that I've had. It's not even close. He's the best that I've had, and he's probably one of the better in the league. So the way he makes in-game adjustments is really, really lucky for us. I mean, he's fantastic at making little switches, whether defensively, offensively. So he's very, very good at making adjustments in zone, and that's a credit to him and our coaching staff for finding those things.
Because he's kind of unpredictable too, a little bit. Or maybe just from the outside looking.
Yeah, no, I think he's an innovative coach. I think he's done a lot of things last year that teams are starting to kind of piggyback off of, pulling the goalie early, things like that. And, he's been, just a great asset to our group, I think. And we've learned a lot from him. And I think we're I know I'm very fortunate that he's our coach, and I think a lot of other guys feel the same way. We love playing for him.
You guys are having trouble scoring goals. Do you guys in the back need to maybe start jumping in a little more to try to kickstart this thing?
It's preseason. I mean, as a defensive group last year, I think we were 6th in the league in points scored by defensemen. That's pretty damn good. So that's going to come very, very soon. If you told us that we'd have trouble scoring goals, I think a lot of people would probably laugh at you, because I don't think that's going to be a problem for us when the season starts.